And the show is with audio. Hey, we're back. Yay.
Welcome. It's going to be a quick Friday, though.
Yes, it's Friday. I'm not in my normal place. Slightly different because, well, just dealing with other stakeholders as usual. How are your stakeholders doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah. Everybody's good.
Everyone's good.
We actually, we watched the State of the Union last night. Was it last night?
Last night, the other night, 2 nights
night
ago.
Before last, 2 nights ago. Yeah, 2 nights ago. And there was some interesting parts that, stuck in my mind because, well, they're talking about cloud stuff because they're talking about the big factory that Intel's putting in that we mentioned in one of our earlier shows.
This is true. Not because we mentioned it, but yeah, it's happening.
Well, I mean, because we mentioned it, of course. Of course. They're building it now.
They have our ear.
Yes. Yes. Biden is one of the 3 people that watch our show.
That's true.
But no, it was good. It was interesting for them to talk about how many jobs it's going to build, and not only how many direct jobs, but how each one of those jobs spawns more because those people have to eat, they have to, clean their house and have a car.
You create an infrastructure. What I think about just recently we had a little stakeholder over here explaining how she was solving a problem in a particular environment. The concept is when you start in those little games where okay, you have like a worker and then he chops some trees, creates a house, and then all of a sudden it tells you, well, if you want to have more people, you're going to need more houses. Well, if you have more houses, you're going to need more food. Go get the food. Well, otherwise I'm going to manually go pick up the food. Maybe you'll make a machine to get the food, and all of that starts building out of it. And all of a sudden, just by sheer logic, the things build around you. Of course, it does it in million times speeds, of course, but the concept is exactly that. If you build it, they will come is not just Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come is the idea that if something is going to be somewhere there, it's like a hole in the ground. It's like as soon as it rains, water is going to find its way there at the very, very least.
For sure. Well, and I mean, if you look back into, olden times, it was historically cities and towns have all been built, near rivers and near, coastal areas, near estuaries and things like that, because that's where trade was. And
well, it's easier to attract trade when you were in a place where it was easier to be found or easier to move around. Yeah,
for sure.
Makes sense.
So, all of this infrastructure building is great. It's going to, improve everyone's lives. They're talking about, bringing internet, fast speed internet to all households. That's a great thing.
In that area, to just about everywhere too. But there at least, to begin.
Well, and if you look at the internet speeds that we have and compare them to Europe, we are far behind in our internet speeds.
Right.
But and this is an interesting thing to talk about too. I think, did we talk about it last week when we had our guest? There are times when it's just faster to ship a hard drive, right? There are times when it's faster to ship, UPS or sneakernet, yeah. But even with faster internet, we're running into that problem. At home, I'm running the T-Mobile wireless. I'm running the 5G. And I got a notice on my phone saying that they're going to be working on the tower that I use most often. And they're going to be upgrading it, which is going to be good for me. But there's going to be an outage. Mm-hmm. And during the outage, one of the things that the little text said was, hey, you can use Wi-Fi calling while you're waiting on the thing to come up. And I'm like, huh. But the problem is my Wi-Fi is through that tower. So, yeah, maybe I need to rethink, when we.
Well, yeah. So now you got to go to the not even the Starbucks, because for all we know, the Starbucks is using that as well. You need to go to somewhere else or to the office. This is actually where it's sometimes good to still have an office. Just saying, you still have a place that you can go that you can hardwire and go.
That's right.
Into the system. I had lately though. I've been finding for whatever reason. I'm not sure if it's a problem. I forget that physical things have a physical lifespan. Wires, for example, at some point things do wear out, no matter how good looking they might be. It's like, and even if it sounds like, but it's only been like 4 years. I said, it's 4 years for some people, that's a lifetime.
Yes.
For some newer equipment, that
devices.
also is a lifetime. So
That's right.
I'm on my wireless right now, mainly because my plugs that I had in this area, they literally wore out. And I looked at them and I'm saying, what's wrong with them? So I plugged them into other things. Yep, sure enough, it's not the case. I mean, I have other wires I can bring in, but then I
Right.
started saying, well, let me go check them out later. My thing is okay. But these are the things I got to deal with. It's not just so the physical will also have its limitations. Make sure it's up to date, make sure it's fresh and won't break.
And I've had wireless routers that work and then they die.
Until they die.
All wireless things. I mean, wireless, wired. All electronics.
Oh, and there's no fixing them. They're dead. They're gone. Pretty much. They might think you could like, oh, you can bring it in to be fixed, or you can send it in. We'll fix it. No, it's like not worth it. Sometimes they're going to charge as much as it cost originally to fix the thing, and that's not even counting the shipping.
Yeah. Now the only thing that I'm glad that we did and sent back in, we have some ceramic knives, Nokia, by the way.
Nokia, yes.
We have some ceramic knives, and we sent them back to be sharpened because we had a couple of chips on the blade, and we looked it up later, and there's one guy that all the knives that you should send back, they go to him and he sharpens them and sends them back.
You sharpen the knife. Can you imagine? That's the thing. It's like
it's a ceramic knife.
It's the Cooper of the 21st century.
Right.
Ceramic knife sharpener. Now that's an interesting. I'd like to see that job description somewhere. It's got to be somewhere. That would be interesting. If anyone finds one, send us a link to that. It's got to be real though. It can't be like because I'm sure I can ask ChatGPT to say it up.
Yeah, we can. No. Yeah, but things like that, right? I mean, that's someone who's a craftsman who does his job and goes home at the end of the day and is happy that he's got all of his work done. We're in similar situations, albeit we don't go home because we're working from home now. But
yes,
so cool. All right, well. What else? Is there anything interesting that you got that you want to talk about?
Not offhand, but I was going to try to see if I could open up and do a little like pretend you're doing ChatGPT from total scratch situation, and I was going to share my screen. Let me just go through that. Just pretend someone told you about this ChatGPT thing, and you're like, everyone seems to be using it and going for it. And it's like, what do we do? So I just typed in ChatGPT, and it, of course, because this is Bing. I think it's got ChatGPT built in somewhere, so this is not quite in. Let me go see if Bing does have it. Let me go to bing.com just to see. Okay. Check it out. You see this? Introducing the new Bing. Get real answers. You know what my joke was? So here was my joke before. My joke was in Team site. It's like I'll be saying all hail our robot masters in all my Teams meetings. That way, when Skynet bings me, and yes, it's going to use Bing and not Google, I'm just telling you, it will see that my family is deserving of living past the first phase of the revolution, right? And I was just kidding. And sure enough, here's Bing with something. And remember, did you hear about Google stock going? Yes, go ahead. Oh, really?
I can see your screen.
But on her, she's the one that's doing the streaming.
Yeah.
Let me try it again. I'm going to stop sharing and share again. Because if she can't see it, then it's not streaming through.
There we go.
So here I'm trying to stream it again.
See,
get ready.
They're trying to keep you down.
I'm keeping.
It could be a network thing.
I'm seeing a gray thing. Gray. Everything is gray.
Is it showing yet?
No, it's not even showing your guys' face.
Okay, hold on a second.
See, they're keeping you down, man. You can't.
Try
to share that. Well, let's save that information. Let's save that information for next week because
bad. I wish you could have seen it though, because it is the Bing screen. It has the Ask Me Anything in it.
No, don't say anymore. The overlords, they're listening. They'll get us down.
Yeah, it's actually listening to me because as I was talking, it was thinking I was talking to it. Yeah, so I'm like, no, I'm not talking to you. It's like
one thing that is kind of cloudy that Dan meant to bring up last week. Our guest from last week. But he sent me an article about Do you know what time it is? And the NNTP protocol, because there seems to be, and this was a New York Post article that he sent me, so I trust it. There's been one guy that's been doing NNTP, the network time protocol, right? The thing that synchronizes all of the time.
That's right, all over
on
the
the internet.
Right.
And he started it, back in ARPANET and pre-internet. So what's happened is the gentleman's getting old, and he's got a problem with his eyes. He's had glaucoma, but now he's actually losing his vision, and so they're looking for someone to take that role over and be the time master for basically the world's internet.
Yikes!
And there's a lot of political stuff.
Why does it feel like in Tron, like the little calculator guy that's so gonna show up? Oh my God!
Right. Well, but he's basically the Linus Torvalds, right? Of NNTP. He's the one that wrote the protocol. He's the one that did all of math and the physics around how to determine what sign, what time really means, and how we can synchronize time to within tens of milliseconds, even though we're across the world. And that's how we can actually have this conversation, right? We're conversing probably using a UDP stream, which means that we have, we can lose some packets, but enough packets get through that we see. But
we see what we see, yes.
But we're synchronized.
In the case of Raquel, not enough packets went through to make that gray screen cleared up.
But we synchronize because of that NNTP, right? Because we have synchronized time. We have a world UTC, the Universal Time Constant.
Coordinates, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
anyway, I can ask.
why don't you ask our AI overlords? What does UTC stand for?
Universal Time Coordinated. Also known as Coordinated Universal Time, but that's cut, like UTC, because it's probably more universal, tempo, something maybe, who knows. But UTC, Coordinated Universal Time.
There we go. So that's it. That's actually fundamental. That's a foundational piece of our internet, sort of like DHCP. DHCP allows your network to automatically connect to a device and get an IP address, right? DNS, which allows you to take a name, a user-friendly name, and convert it to an IP address.
Right.
That's how we do, connect to Google.com.
Domain name services, yes.
Right. So those underlying those low-level protocols are important to all of the cloud, not just cloud people like us.
I mean, they're fundamental, essentially. Yes.
Fundamental. And DNS. I guess we could talk about IP4 running out of IP addresses. IPv4.
When we say IP addresses like the 235.235.235, those three combinations, and you're out. Running out of space.
192.168.1.1 is probably what most people are on, because they've got an internal, VPN that's set up, a virtual private network that's set up with an address space, and that particular 192.168 address space is used for internal networks.
Exactly.
So, but all of that is the basis of all of the cloud stuff that we do. When you stand up a Kubernetes cluster, internally within that cluster, it has its own IP address.
That's right.
And all of those IP addresses started out being IPv4. There are some programs, some projects that are using IPv6, the next version.
For inside the cubes?
Inside the cubes as well. But what they do is, they don't actually have to do it inside the cubes anymore, because the reason that they have that separated network is because they're a limited number of IP addresses. But with IPv6, everything can just be exposed without having any sort of internal intermediate layer. So you don't
no need for like what's called the masking or the blocking or the, like say, the extra overhead of deciding shall you go or do you need to stay.
Right. There's no routing. There's none of that is available.
That's right.
None of that's required.
So you actually saved the little itty bitty cycles that you think you're saving is a lot when you scale it out.
Expand it and scale it. Yeah. It does. There are some firewall issues. There's some other things that the network layer generally does that they're working on with the IPv6. But that's also something that might be interesting to bring up and talk about later. But
interesting.
Anyway, we are we're going to do a short show today. So
yes,
and it seems like our overlords and masters won't allow us to show you the new Bing search. You can check it out yourself.
Yes. We'll actually go through it. Maybe we'll go through a little bit deeper and do some, well, let's actually make it do something for us. And I don't know, maybe start a new business. Maybe ask it to make the movie script that will absolutely win an Oscar next year and see how long it takes to do that. Sure. Oh, Raquel's getting ideas. Really? I can ask ChatGPT to do that?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Just a rumor. Just a rumor.
You know, you combine.
You know, it'd be really cool. I think it'd be really cool if Raquel's next show that they do somewhere is they literally have ChatGPT write that show and see what the heck it comes up with.
Write the scripts.
Write the script. See what happens.
And see, you can use the deep fake to get stars to be in your show instead of having to actually hire them. You could just deep fake them in.
I'm not sure the stars would like that, but yeah, that's an idea.
Let ChatGPT write the script. You deep fake in all the stars. And, you can do the movie on a weekend with nothing but your computers. Never have to leave the house.
Uh-oh.
See, that's not as much fun, though. I mean, I want to actually be in the movie going to Paris and be in the movie
kitty
there.
Says,
be great.
The kitty says, the kitty, oh, there she is. There's her whiteboard with her script.
Yes.
We see you, Rafi. We see Raquel, I mean.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You're testing your video?
I'm testing my video because I can't see you guys still. I closed everything else that had nothing to do with the show.
All I see is ears.
Oh, so all we're hearing is sound right now? That's the only thing going through our podcast?
It's okay.
Sort of thing?
Yes.
I like
they can't even see my face because
Raquel.
I'm irrelevant to this conversation.
Raquel can't see me, and I'm wearing the same NASA shirt that she's wearing.
Yeah, y'all are NASA.
The same NASA jacket. Oh no!
Right.
Uh-oh. So this is going to be the silent show, is what this sounds like.
Maybe this is not going to be a show. We'll be all right.
We have to fix it. Anyway, it's going to be a short show. We might as well finish here a little bit early, and then we'll solve technical issues next time.
If this gets up, bye everyone. If it doesn't,
can you see yourself, Raquel? No, at least in the video.
I can see myself in the video. If I were to share the screen onto here, I can just see me in the tiny corner like a streamer. Everything else is missing. I checked the call health and everything because you can do that in settings. Check the call health. It's not.
It's not getting mad.
There's nothing looks.
Network issue going on.
Yeah, it's showing my videos. It's all sorts of silly willy right now.
All right. Well, we'll have to let silly willy go then.
Let's run our ending bumper and we'll just go away. Bye everyone.
And then we'll see you all next week. All right, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.